Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. Now today we're going to be looking at one of the single biggest mistakes that many people make when publishing KDP, no content, low content books that's preventing them from making sales. And it will literally kill the sales of your book. Now if you're interested in finding out more about this, then make sure you watch the video. Now if you've not been here before, my name's Marles. I do videos on how to make it, keep it, grow it. That's your money I'm talking about. And if you do like videos like that, then please do give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell to receive notification of when I produce more videos like this. So what's this biggest killer of book sales? Well, it's the font. The fonts used for the titles on the front of the books, the words on the front of the books. So what we're going to do in this video is look at some common mistakes, look at some of the different types of fonts and characteristics that you can use in some of the best-selling books that are out there. Then we'll look at a bit more detail on the sorts of things you can do to change your fonts and how to pick the right font. And then look at some good resources on where to find good professional fonts that will give your book that professional quality look. So let's get straight to it and go and look at some examples of books with poor fonts. Okay, now we've got this one first of all. Now I've had to enlarge the screen quite a bit just so you could look at the cover. We're not able to click on it just yet to enlarge it for some reason. But the main problem with this is the size of the font. It's not readable. So if I just reduce the size of the screen back down to 100%, it's very difficult to read what's on the cover. Now remember, a lot of people are browsing for books on their mobile devices, on their phones. And so this would be even smaller on a phone and even more difficult to see what's written on the cover, and it does put people off. And probably this is the wrong sort of font also in terms of the style of the cover, but don't worry about that. We're going to come to that in more detail in a moment about what's the right type of font. Then we've got this next book, and it's a Rainbow Unicorn notebook. Now first glance you might think, well, that looks all right. But the issues with this font is it's probably the wrong type of font. Again, we're going to discuss these in more detail. The colours are very difficult to read on this particular background, and also the size is too small. It's not really in proportion with the cover of the book, and when we just go to the normal browse on Amazon, you can see that due to the size, due to the colours and type of font, it's very difficult to read, and overall just looks a bit odd and unprofessional. Now look at this one. Again, I'm going to have to enlarge the size of this because for some reason I can't click on the book. This font, this wording is almost impossible to read due to the styling they've done on the font and the colours that they've used. I mean, this word at the bottom here I think is supposed to be notebook. It's completely illegible, and surprisingly they've not made any sales of this book. And you can see if we reduce it down to the normal size, you can't read what's on the front of the cover. If this was on a mobile device, it would be almost impossible. So let's go and look at some good examples of fonts, and just to demonstrate the different types of fonts. Now what I did, I went over to BookBolt, used their cloud tool, and found a few examples of books that are selling well and that have different types of fonts. Now the thing that stands out with all of these is that the words on the front are easy to read. So let's have a look first of all at this graph paper composition. You can see the font here. It's bold, it's black on white, and it's a good size. You can read this quite easily. This is an example of what we call a serif font, and serifs are these little bits that add on to the bottom of the letters. Now a small disclaimer, I'm not a professional graphic designer, and I know some of the pedants out there may be saying, oh, I'm using the wrong term. You know, I should be using typeface when I should be using the word font, or font when I should be using the term typeface. But I'm going to be using the term font in all the examples and all the uses here, because it's a common word that's used. An example of a font without these little bits at the bottom would be this. They don't have those little sort of extra bits there, the serifs, so these are called a sans-serif font. Now, if you want to learn, if you're really interested in this and you want to learn more about the different types and typography, here's a good resource. If you go over to Gumroad and just search for Geek Hustle, he does this typography dissected poster, and it's free, and it will tell you all the different bits and pieces, the anatomy of fonts and type, and give you all the different terms. As we can see here, those little orange bits there are the serifs on this font. So you've got all the different definitions here, but this is not required really. I've never really learnt all these different terms. So we've got the serif, we've got the sans-serif. Then we've got this. This is an example of a type of font called a script font. So it's this sort of fancy, curly handwriting type font, if you like, and is very common on books like, you know, planners, diaries, meditation journals, that type of thing. Then we've got more sort of specialist fonts. Now you can see here, these have got serifs also on these letters, but these are thick serifs, and this is called a slab font. So these serifs look like little slabs. Now, different types of fonts are suitable for different types of books, in particular different types of niches. Now I want to show you this example here of this graph paper notebook that we've just looked at, and this type of font. Now let's look at this other different type of graph paper notebook, and we can see this is a completely different type of font, and that's because these two books are aimed at different audiences, different niches. This one here that we're looking at is for the role-playing, Dungeons and Dragons type niche, type theme, and this one here is for your regular buyer of a graph paper book. It could be a mathematician, engineer, student, somebody that's at school. So it's just a basic, simple font that they've used there that stands out. So over in Illustrator, I've done a mock-up of that graph paper composition, and we'll just look at some of the characteristics of the fonts and how to pick and choose the right font for your niche. So I've got this here. It looks very similar to the one we've just been looking at, and this is a nice bold font. So we need to choose the right font for our niche. So for this, you've got to know, you know, who your audience is, and again it said it's for mathematicians, engineers, students. So you wouldn't want to really go and pick a font like this, which is sort of what I think sort of a comical type font, because it doesn't suit the audience. Or what about a script font? I mean, I see a lot of these types of books with script fonts. Well, you could, but it's really narrowing down your audience quite a bit, and it's not in keeping with the overall niche. And then we've got an example of a sans-serif font, and you could argue that this would be okay for this type of niche. I say it's bold, it's simple, easily readable. Now let's just have a look at another example. We've got this. Now this could easily be, again, it's just a quick mock-up. This could easily be the cover of a meditation journal, maybe a prayer journal even, maybe a diary, a planner. You know, something, you know, with the flowers, probably more aimed at the female market. Now I've got here an example of a sans-serif font, and it's not really in keeping. Yes, it's nice, bold, it's big, but it's not really in keeping. So let's try a different font. Again, this sort of comical font, not in keeping. Again, we've got this serif font, not as bad as the other two, but still doesn't really give that right vibe. Books like this are more suited to the script font, as you can see here. And if you are choosing a script font, you know, you can search through your list of different fonts on whatever software platform you're using, and you'll find many different examples. Here's another one here. So that covers the type of font, and we're going to look at some of the other characteristics of fonts that you need to take into account. I'll tell you what, one of the best things to do if you're thinking about which type of font to use is go and look at all the other books in your niche, in the type of book you want to create, and just scroll down and look at the, on the first page of books that are selling well, and look at the fonts they're using and the type of font, and that will give you a good idea of what type of font to stick to. That's always the general thing that I've done, and has always worked quite nicely. So now you come to the size of the font, and we touched on that in some of the examples. Now you want to make sure that the font is big, it stands out, and is easily readable, even on a small little thumbnail. So you don't want to be putting on, doing something like this, and writing some other information under here, because by the time you start to shrink down the size of a book to a thumbnail size, you can't read what's on there. You want something that really, stands out on a thumbnail. Now I want to discuss another feature of a font that you need to take into account, and that is what's called the weight. So this one here, we can see it tells us up here that this is of a medium weight, and there are different weights that we can pick. There's bold, again, which is good, it stands out, and there's things like condensed medium, where the letters are sort of squashed together. And if we go back to the previous font here that we were looking at, we've got things like extra light. Again, doesn't, when you start looking at these different weights, you can see how it changes the whole characteristic of a book. Light, you get in there, doesn't look as good. Regular would pass, but I prefer something, semi-bold, bold. Black's probably a bit too much, but something like bold I tend to use on most of my books, because again it does stand out. So we've got the type of font, we've got the size, we've got the weight, and next, one of the most important things is colour. And again, we saw that in those examples earlier. Now here we've just got black on white, which is, traditionally stands out well. But I do see a lot of people that use the wrong colour on the wrong backgrounds, and the letters don't stand out really that well and puts people off. I'm going to show you this neat little tool I found at coolers.co, and it's called a contrast checker, because it's a contrast of the font on the background that makes it stand out, makes it pop, and helps customers read it, and it helps the words stand out, your title stand out a lot more. And here you can choose a background colour, anything here, let's go for a blue, and then you can choose your font colour, and you can see here it gives us a score and tells us whether the contrast is very poor to good to very good. And I'm sure if we were to use black, yeah, it's poor on this sort of background. White now gives us a good score, so this stands out. But if you start messing about with other colours, you can see how this changes. Now a lot of people sometimes think that sort of contrasting colours, a red and a blue look well together, but you can see a red font on a blue background looks awful, and it gives us a very poor score. Try and keep it simple. Usually just using a black font on a light coloured background works the best, but use a tool like this if you are using a coloured background. Pick out the right colour that stands out on your background and looks easy on the eye. So we've covered the main things there. Picking the right type of font for your niche. Go and look at books in your particular niche that you're going to be selling in. Look at the size of the font so it's readable on the thumbnails. That goes for the weight of the font also. And also consider the colour of the font, the colours of your background, whether there's enough contrast there to make the letters stand out. So where do we go about finding these fonts? Now sometimes you might see a font on a book, say on Amazon if you're doing your research, and you're thinking, well, what type of font have they used? Now this is not to copy, but just to get the general similar style of font. Well, this is a good tool that I use, and it's at myfonts.com, and it's called What the Font. And what you could do is take a screenshot of say a book cover on Amazon and upload it here. Now at the bottom here they've got a few examples of how you can use this tool. So you upload your image as a tool that will highlight the fonts for you, and you just click on a particular word, click on the blue arrow, and it will give you examples of fonts that are either identical or very similar. So that can put you in a good stead to getting that right font. Also, you can browse fonts by those categories that we've talked of. The serif fonts here, the sans-serif font, the script font, and they've added a few more here, the handwritten fonts and the display type fonts. Now if you want to get fonts, if you're using something like Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, even Canva, they have lots of different fonts in there already preloaded. If you want to try and find something different, unusual, a resource that I often use is fontspring.com, and they have lots of different fonts here. Now it's quite interesting. On the front here it talks about licensing. You need to make sure the license for your font allows you to use it in commercial products, and they have this little badge thing here called worry free, which means it makes the licensing very simple. So that's a good place if you want to go out and buy fonts, and prices can vary greatly, just from a few dollars, all the way up to, I've seen fonts for $50, $100. So it depends how much you really want that particular font. But using the tool I've just shown you, you could find a font that may cost money, be expensive, put it into that tool I've just showed you, find similar fonts. You might be able to find free fonts, but again, make sure you've got the license for commercial purposes. If you're really feeling up to it and want to create something completely bespoke, then you could go and use a tool like this. Now this is at designcuts.com. At the moment it costs $9, and it's called a letter builder, and these are grid brushes for Procreate, Photoshop and Illustrator, and it's a tool that allows you to go and create your own fonts, if you like, your own bespoke sort of hand-drawn fonts. You certainly don't need to do that, but if you are feeling inclined and really going for that look, then you could do that. So you can see how fonts are important. It's not just a case of picking any old font and any old colour and just putting it on the front of your book. It is something that you need to spend a bit of time in getting right, so that you're going to make those sales, that your book looks attractive, and more importantly, it looks good in those small thumbnails and stands out. So take into account those factors that I've said, the different types of font, the niche, the colours, the size, the weight. Use some of the tools that I've shown you there, and you should be well on your way to not making the #1 killer mistake that kills the sales of books, and hopefully you'll get some books that sell successfully. So I hope you like that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. But make sure you hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell. And until next time, goodbye.